Okay, my boys and girls. Lord of the Rings has a problem, mainly because I can't rate it, because the story is super simple and it's safe to say that it is a children's story. So this is a movie for children, and if we rate it as a movie for children, it's 7 out of 10. It's okay, it's good, nothing spectacular, yeah, but like the problem is this movie, Fellowship of the Ring, is 3 hours long, and I can't imagine anyone younger than 14 being able to sit through a 3-hour movie. So obviously this is not a movie for children, and if this is not a movie for children, then the scrutiny for it must be higher than a movie for children. So I can't rate it 7 out of 10. I am only able to rate it 5 out of 10 because of all the different problems this movie has. And I'm going to talk about these problems because like there are a lot of them, and I had to watch it because it came out in 2001, and I can't ignore it as well as I couldn't ignore Star Wars. So I've wasted 3 hours of my time to watch it, and I'm going to complain about it.
Began with the forging of the great...
Yeah, so it began with the forging of the great rings. We will go as we go. So never in this movie, not in this part, not in the following parts, the great rings ever explained. So, like...
Rings. 3 were given to the elves.
3 were given to the elves. Why? Why 3? What did they do? Like, no explanation.
7 to...
7 to dwarves. They even looked the same. Look at this. They all looked the same. At least elves have different looking rings. Dwarves have all the same ring, like just duplicated 7 times. Does it affect anything? No. It never even mentioned.
7.
And 9 were gifted to men. Humans. They also look all the same. They don't even show them, but they... I'm almost sure they all are the same. Also, it never explained if they differed between the races. Like, are the powers the dwarves had because of the rings different from powers the humans had because of the rings? Never explained, never touched upon. And then the strangest thing happens.
For another ring was made.
Another ring was made.
In a land...
Another ring was made. First of all, who made the other rings? Never explained. And then another ring was made.
Mount Doom, the Dark Lord Sauron.
Sauron forged a secret master rings that had the power to control all other rings. Why? Why were the rings made in the first place? The other rings, not the master ring. Why were the other rings made in the first place if Sauron could always made another ring that had the power to control all the other rings? What was the point?
One ring to rule them all. One by one. The three...
Okay, so as you can see, Sauron existed before he forged the ring. Like, he had a body, all of that. He was fine. Then he forged the ring and put it on. And then... So the dude just exploded. They cut off his finger with the ring on it, and the dude exploded. He lost his body. Just because he lost the ring. How does that work? Never explained.
The enemy of the free peoples of Middle-earth was defeated.
That's the only explanation we get. He was defeated. They cut off his finger. His finger had the ring on it. That means he exploded. Okay, so then we get the explanation of how hobbits live. In this part is fine. It has no plot holes, everything is hunky-dory, everything is fine. So I'm going to skip.
I'm leaving everything to him.
What about this ring of yours? Is that staying too?
So, at this point, Gandalf doesn't know that this is the Master Ring. And why is he so keen on leaving this ring to Frodo, since he doesn't know what it is? Never explained. So now Sauron enters the stage, and this thing where his eye is shown every time someone touches the ring is very confusing. So apparently every time someone touches the ring, Sauron can see them, and
The Lord of Mordor sees all. His gaze pierces cloud, shadow, earth, and...
his gaze pierces cloud, shadow, earth, and flesh. So, in other words, he can say anything. Keep that in mind, it will come in handy later.
flesh.
And then another thing brought into light that can see everything again.
You know this? How?
That's it. Why? Why should we fear to use it?
They are not all accounted for. The lost seeing stone.
Seeing stones.
The 9 have left Minas Morgul.
The 9.
They crossed.
The third force that can sense the ring.
Then Sauron the Deceiver gave to them 9 rings of power.
How? How did Sauron get a hold of 9 rings of power for men? Did he originally make them? Or did it get them after the war he waged? Never explained.
At all times they feel the presence of the ring.
At all times they feel the presence of the ring. And yet they couldn't feel it across the street. And even more than that, let's get back. Can you explain to me what the fuck is this scene? So here is the Nazgul. He's supposed to feel the ring. That means if it is close, he can feel it better, right? But like they're like 2 feet apart. Look at this. He's right there. He can feel the ring. What the fuck was that? Seriously. What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? What the fuck is this scene? They're right underneath you. And someone from there throws some log 2 feet apart. And you get, instead of going down where they are, you hop on your horse and ride to the direction where the log was thrown. What the fuck was that? You can feel the ring. Keep it in mind. What the fuck is this scene? Okay, so now we have 3 forces that can see whenever the ring is used. So at any time, they know where they are. Because Frodo puts on the ring constantly, so Sauron sees it. Saruman doesn't even need for him to put it on, because he can see everything. And the Wraith can feel it. Supposedly. They are terrible at it, but supposedly they still can feel it. 3. 3 powers that know where they are. Explain to me this.
Crabine from Dunland!
Hide! Hurry!
So, some bats or birds flying over our protagonists. And they're like, hide, hide. Why would they hide? Because, like, Saruman already knows where you are. Sauron also knows where you are. What the fuck? So, bird, okay. Bird, they're flying over them. The 4th power that can see them. And they decide, because of these birds, they can't go this way. Because they can see them. They will find where they are. Spies of Saruman. What a fucking problem. The spies, they can tell Sauron where they are. Even though they know. They already know where they are.
South is being
The passage is being watched.
We must take the path.
So they choose to go the other way because this path is being watched.
Of Karathos.
So they go up on the mountain. And then what do you think happens? What do you think happens? Then Saruman finds out where they are. How did he do it? What the fuck? There were no birds. Birds didn't see them. How did he find out where they are? Maybe because he has a seeing orb that can see them at any time. So, like, what's the point? Why did they change the path and went up on the mountain where they still were being found? What the fuck? So Saruman not only knows where they are, he can cast magic right at them. 1,000 kilometers away from them. So here another problem. Why didn't Gandalf cast any shield? Like just a protective field would be enough. Because it's just snow. Well, snow and ice. And Gandalf didn't do anything. What kind of a wizard is here? Also, they are all dead. They're buried 9 meters under the snow. They wouldn't have gotten out of it. They're all suffocated. Well, maybe except Gandalf because he's a wizard, you know. But all of the other one are dead. They are all dead. No. Even if he is an elf, that couldn't have happened. It's impossible. He's dead. He's trapped under the snow. He can't breathe. He died of hypoxia.
We must get up the mountain! Make for the cup of Rohan!
So now they changed their path again. Because some snow fell on them. And magically it didn't do any damage at all. It's just snow. They all have magical resistance to snow, I assume, because otherwise they would all have been dead. So now they changed the path again. So first they changed the path because of some birds, then some snow fell on them, and they like, no, we can't go this way. They know where they are. They know where we are. We must change the way again. Why? Why can't you just go on? Because clearly, just Saruman has casted the most powerful spell, like making the snow fall. This was very powerful. He couldn't do it again. Because if he could, like, they would already have been dead because he knows where they are. No, they changed the path again.
I take the way.
While we are still here, so they come to Mines of Moria entrance, and there is a door, a magic door, of course. It must be a magic door. You can just have a regular door. And here's the problem: this is an elvish door. Elves made this door. let me remind you, the Mines of Moria is the territory of dwarves. And dwarves hate elves. And you need to be able to read what this elvish door says in elvish to open it. To open the door to the territory of dwarves. Dwarves don't speak elvish. And I can prove it to you.
So much for the legendary courtesy of the elves. Speak words we can all understand.
So Gimli doesn't speak elvish. Because he's a dwarf. He isn't supposed to speak elvish. He hates dwarves. So why the fuck is an elvish door protecting the entrance to the Mines of Moria? The Mines of Dwarves? They can't even read what it says.
What's the elvish word for friend?
Melon.
Melon. Okay. And while we are still here, this is all basically like minute points. They don't even mean much in terms of like rating this movie, because like I'm still getting to the main point. But while we are still here, so these are dwarves, yeah? So one of the 3 most powerful races on Middle-earth. So what happened to dwarves, you might ask?
Soon, Master Elf, you will enjoy the fabled hospitality of the dwarves. Roaring fires, malt beer, red...
Also, another minute point. How do dwarves get their meat if they're living in the mines? Are there any animals that live in mines? Like some deers or some boars? I don't know. Where do they get the meat?
Meat off the bone! This, my friend, is the home of my cousin Balin, and they call it a mine.
So, you can see they're all skeletons. So, a lot of time has passed. And he never heard from his cousin for years. And he's like, he's fine. My cousin Balin is balling.
A mine!
This is no mine. It's a tomb.
Pay attention. Very important thing is going to happen now. No. This is not the thing. Goblins! Goblins wiped out the whole of Dwarven Mine. Goblins! The lowest ranking race in this universe. Goblins! Goblins wiped out dwarves. Can you imagine that? What the fuck is this with this power dynamic? How did that happen? How is this even possible? While we're still on the topic of power dynamic, so remember Wraith? Nazgul. Remember Nazgul? They're big and scary, and they ride on horses, and we are supposed to fear them because they're dark and scary. Yeah? Remember those? So, this is a major threat in this universe, right? Explain to me this scene. There are 6 of those here. 6 of Nazgul. So like 2/3 of the whole team. No, 5. Never mind. Still 2/3. And then Aragorn shows up with some sword and some torch, and he beats 5 of Nazgul single-handedly. One human with a regular sword and a regular torch beats 5 Nazgul. One person. And this is... We are 1 hour into this movie. 1 hour. At 1 hour, 1 person beats 5 Nazgul. With some sword and some torch. How are we supposed to fear these Nazgul? Fearsome Nazgul. if we know one person is enough to beat 5 of them. Okay, so these are minuscule points. They don't matter much. They're just regular plot holes. Nothing criminal about that. All movies have plot holes. Lord of the Rings has these. So now the main problem with this movie is that it has one plot. Well, 2 plots actually. Well, the second plot is a part of the first one. Usually, not always, but usually. And so this movie has one plot that repeats over and 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 over 14 times. 14 times, this is the same plot happening. Over and over. So, what is the plot? The plot is...
But it cannot stay in the Shire.
No.
It cannot stay in the Shire. So, this is the plot. We can't stay here, we must move to another place. It repeats 14 times. So, first, they move from the Shire to the Dancing Pony.
I'll be waiting for you at the Inn of the Prancing Pony.
Prancing Pony. So, they move from the Shire to the Prancing Pony. Because it's too dangerous to stay in the Shire. So, they go and go and go and go. They hide under the roots, and they continue going. So they reach the Prancing Pony, they meet Aragorn. So, and then, since Frodo put on the ring, and now Nazgul knows where he is, because he put on the ring, and Nazgul feels the ring. So, since he put on the ring in the Prancing Pony, they move from one inn to another inn, because it is too dangerous to stay in the Prancing Pony. The second time the same plot happened. They can feel them across the road. I can't believe how stupid it is. Because like they're just across the road and they can feel the ring. What the fuck? Come on.
Great kings of men, one by one.
His tenants.
So they bring Frodo into Rivendell, or whatever it is called, and then they say
This evil cannot be concealed by...
This evil cannot be concealed by the power of the elves. So ring can stay here, so they have to move to another place. So I'm not going to show the whole movie to you, because it repeats and it repeats and it repeats and it repeats and it repeats. Okay, so the second point. Every time enemies find Frodo, he falls on the ground. He falls onto the ground every time. So the first... So I'm not counting this, because they're all on the ground, but the first time he falls, specifically. Yeah. So he's just standing, and he stumbles. And he falls. First time. So he falls. And there are no enemies around, but like the second time, there are enemies around. Not will come, and the first thing he do, he falls. Then he's just lying on his back the whole road to the Rivendell, because he cannot stand. So here they are walking on the mountain. Again, nothing is happening. No enemies, and he just falls. He just falls. He just falls! So, we are back in the mines. And what happens? What happens? Can you guess what happens? Frodo falls! Again! There are 3-4 hobbits that stay there, and the Frodo is the one who falls. And it repeats and it repeats and it repeats. So, another thing. While we're still in the mines, I have questions. I have 2 questions. I have questions about some bridges, and the questions about some tactics implemented by this crew of highly sophisticated individuals. So,
the bridge is near.
Okay, so this bridge is sus as hell, but I kinda can imagine how they built it. So the distance is not very long, and they have the arch, and okay. Dwarves are master builders, all that. I can accept that they built that bridge. I can accept it. But this thing... How the hell did they build that? How? It is supposedly bottomless pit. How did they build it? Okay, so the second question, where it's exactly at this point. So their goal is to take Frodo to the Mountain Doom, or whatever it's called. So he always should go first, right? But here everyone goes first. This thing starts scrambling. So like first Legolas, then Gandalf, and Gandalf shouldn't even go any place but the last, because he's protecting them from what comes after them. Why the fuck is he leaping after Legolas? The second. But okay, whatever. Can you guess who was second to last to jump this gap, even though he should have been the first? Well, it was Frodo, obviously. So Gimli has time for quips. Frodo and Aragorn are left. So the gap is getting wider, and everyone is here. Oh yeah, let Frodo jump last. He is not important. We can leave him here. Whatever. Some fiery monster comes after him. Let him stay on that side. So by pure coincidence, so if it didn't fall this way, if it fell any other way, they all would have been dead, and their journey to Mountain Doom would have ended here. Also, how did they build this? Seriously. It's a bottomless pit, and these huge columns going from the bottomless pit. How did they build them? How? Explain this to me. And the last thing, so they go to the bridge, and he's like, you shall not pass over the thing. He falls, and Gandalf just stays there and looks down. What is he waiting for? If he didn't, if he hadn't done this, he would have been alive. But now he is dead. Fly, you fools. All of that. Just because he just decided to stand and look how this beast falls. Even though, like, he knows he's in grave danger. Like, this beast, he didn't know whether he could fight it. So that's basically it. So I have some other points, but like, it's enough. It's enough to prove that, like, this story is very childish and not very well thought out, and it doesn't deserve anything over 6. So 7 out of 10 is too high for it. And like, if I'm not mistaken, it's in IMDb top 250. Yeah, here it is. Number 9. Fellowship of the Ring. So I'm not saying Fellowship of the Ring is a bad movie. I'm saying it is very overrated. Extremely, very overrated. It's not as bad as Pulp Fiction. I can't stop shitting on that movie. It pisses me off so much. Every time I see it, I'm like, what the fuck? Why not other Tarantino movies are in top 250 and this shit is? Okay, so that's it. That's all I wanted to say. Take care, bye.